Right, so this video is just a continuation of section 2.3. We're going to be doing synthetic division, which I think you'll like because it's super easy. But the only restrictions with synthetic division is your divisor can only be something that has the highest power of x can only be x to the first. So this has to be a linear factor. So if you had x squared, you could not use synthetic division, or an x to the third. It can only be x plus a number or x minus a number. So what we're going to do is we take what we're dividing by our divisor and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So x would be 3. And then we put the 3 in what I will call this little half box. And then you'll put the coefficients of your dividends across. Again, if you need a placeholder, you need to put a placeholder. So on this particular one, you have the coefficient in front of this x to the third term is 1. Then you go x squared. The coefficient is negative 11. There is no x to the first term, so we need a placeholder of 0. And then we have our constant, which is 6. You're going to leave a space to write numbers, and then you'll draw a line. This first number always gets brought down below the line, and then we start a series of multiplying and adding. So we'll multiply what's in the box by the number that's below the line. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then these numbers get added together. So negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8. Then I start the multiplication process again. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24, and we add these numbers. So negative 24. Multiply 3 times negative 24 is negative 72, and then we add these numbers. So that's negative 66. So what this tells me, this is my answer, but that doesn't really make sense. But how this works is this is your remainder, this is your constant, this coefficient is the coefficient of your x to the first term, and this is the coefficient of your x squared term. So your answer is x squared minus 8x minus 24 minus 66 over your divisor. So x minus 3. So really easy. So this next one, I take my divisor, set it equal to 0, x would equal negative 2. So the negative 2 goes in the half box. Sorry, my phone's going off. My negative 2 goes in the half box, and then my coefficients of each term go across. So we start with x to the third. The coefficient is 2. My x to the second coefficient is 5. My x to the first coefficient is 5. And my constant is 6. Leave a space and draw your line. We bring down the 2. And then we start multiplying. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Add. 5 plus a negative 4 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add these. You get 3. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Add these. 0. Again, starting on the right, this is your remainder. This is your constant. This is the coefficient of your x to the first term. This is the coefficient of your x squared term. So your answer is 2x squared plus x plus 3. Now I just want you to notice that when you're dividing something, if your polynomial is an x squared and you're dividing by an x to the first term, it should make sense that your first term of your quotient, your answer, is going to be an x squared. So again, here, x cubed divided by x, we start with an x squared. Here I have a 2x to the fifth. I'm dividing by an x, so my answer is going to start with an x to the fourth. So let's start this next one. Set this equal to 0, so x equals 2. We'll put that in our little box. Then our coefficients going across. So coefficient of my x to the fifth term is 2. After x to the fifth, I should have an x to the fourth term. There isn't one, so I need a placeholder for my x to the fourth. Then I have x to the third, so negative 3. Next would be my x squared term. I don't have one, so I need a placeholder. Then my x to the first, coefficient is -10, and my constant is 7. Leave a space. Bring down your 2, or your first number, and then multiply 2 times 2, 4. Add these two numbers, 4. Multiply what's in the box by the number below the line. 2 times 4 is 8. Add these. Multiply 2 times 5, which is 10. Add these numbers. 2 times 10 is 20. Add these numbers. 2 times 10 is 20. Add these. 27. Again, this is my remainder. This is my constant. This is the coefficient of my x to the first term, the coefficient of my x squared term, the coefficient of my x to the third term, the coefficient of my x to the fourth term. So your final answer is 2x to the fourth plus 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 10x plus 10 plus my remainder is positive, so 27 over my divisor. And that's it for synthetic division.